So automatically, if you're watching this video on how to save money on a wedding, you're probably very money conscious while you also want to enjoy the entire wedding. That is awesome. So in this video, I promised you 15 different ways to actually save money on your wedding and to still make your wedding actually look good, right? Because it's still a very important moment. But you don't want to fall for the idea that your wedding has to be this massive thing where you have to spend all your money, because the people that do that end up spending an average around $30,000. On top of that, a third of them tend to go into debt to have their wedding, and most people, guess what? Half of them actually end up in divorce. So there is no correlation between the amount of money spent on the wedding and your actual marriage being successful. People that spend, for example, $100 in a marriage license and they're still married 40 years later, they're still just as married as everyone else. So the goal of this video is to give you ways to actually save money and to keep your wedding within your budget and make sure you don't have to go into debt to actually get married. And that is the whole goal of this video. And as always, guys, like this video, on top of also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. Now, the very first thing, I really have to say this, okay, is basically, remember, a wedding is a ceremony between two people to glorify God, to get married, to become one. That is beautiful. That is amazing. But remember, a lot of the times you can have family and friends and you're trying to meet their expectations. No, worry about you two and you two being on the same page, okay? Be humble and have, for example, be nice to each other, but most importantly, be nice and humble to other people trying to give you opinions that are too expensive, but you know what your budget actually is, okay? So the very first way to save a lot of money on your wedding is going to be to limit the amount of guests you actually have come to your wedding. My cousin had a wedding with over 100 people. He told me, Tommy, most of the people I invited was just because I felt obligated to invite them. And in reality, I'm here to tell you, you're not obligated to invite absolutely anyone to your wedding. Only the people that are closer to you. And don't forget, you can always have, for example, Zoom links, okay? Because one of my friends got married. She sent me a Zoom link and I was like more than happy to just watch the whole thing. I was so happy for her, and that is amazing. So don't forget, invite your close friends. Keep the wedding tight, okay? Unless you have a lot of money to spend on it. But like, you don't need that many people. And the people that you kind of want them to see so they don't feel left out, you can always send those people a virtual Zoom link and let people know, okay, we have a budget. We don't have that much money. So that's why we're doing things the way we're doing it, okay? Now, number two is you can save a lot of money on your wedding rings, okay? The average person is spending about $5,600, and it's usually just because of marketing. You gotta buy this girl the best ring possible. Spend 3 months salary on it, bro, because that's how you know that she's special to you. In reality, that's all fake news, okay? That's just a marketing tactic done by a diamond company a long time ago. In reality, you have several different types of diamonds, okay? You have, for example, natural diamonds, lab diamonds, and also, for example, moissanite, okay? Which is also a lab diamond, but they're basically for a fraction of the cost. So here's my advice. Don't worry about the company trying to sell you more expensive stuff, but worry about what this actually symbolizes and what it actually means. You can actually get wedding rings on Etsy, moissanite diamonds with like 14 karat gold. They're like $500, $1,000. Don't spend a bunch of money on this, okay? Having a $1,000 limit on this is more than fine. Or even a $120 limit. It's all about what you can actually afford, okay? Because at the end of the day is what it symbolizes, which is most important. So yeah, that is Etsy, not Zales, not anywhere else. Just go to Etsy and see exactly what is available. And by the way, moissanite, I'm a big fan of those rings. You can get like a 1 carat, 2 carat, and 14 carat for like 14 karat gold, like the actual ring band for like around like $500 or $700, and that is huge money savings. All money that can be put towards toward a college fund or an apartment or a down payment, which are more important than a little ring or whatever, okay? And by the way, if you do want a general rule, it's basically don't spend more than 1 month's salary on a wedding ring. But if you can spend less, even better. Now, number three is going to be get a fake cake. Yeah, I know what it sounds like, okay? Tell me, why would I get a fake cake? That sounds ridiculous. The answer is very simple, okay? So you want a cake that's going to be for decorations, for taking pictures and so on. My cousin actually had this, okay, and I thought it was like a real cake, okay. You buy these cakes on Amazon for like $30 or like $25. You give it to, for example, a cake person to decorate it. It looks super real. You put it on the table. It's like a wedding cake overall. But when it comes time to serve cake, you serve people Costco cake or Sam's cake, whatever cake is actually available. You serve it to them, and those people are just going to be the same happy as it would be anyways. It's still cake. Cake is cake. But this way you can spend less than $1,000 on a cake. Way less, okay? You spend $25, $30 on the actual fake cake. You can actually buy this on Amazon. You decorate it for what a normal cake would basically cost, and then you basically just buy some Costco cake and serve it to your guests, and that is a good way to get the pictures you want, but not to spend a bunch of money on a wedding cake overall. And you can also get, for example, specialty cakes, okay? So normal cake, it looks like a wedding cake in reality, but it's not. Because if you put wedding cake anywhere around there, they're going to charge you extra money for it. It's just how the business works. So yeah, fake cake, go on Amazon, find fake cakes, your pictures, you get them decorated, and you use them for the pictures, but then you actually serve people from the back just normal Costco or Sam's or whatever cake it actually is. Still good. Number 4 is going to be a Spotify playlist slash DJ. You know, I get the whole idea of I want a live band, which sounds great. And by the way, my cousin had this and she was like, oh, good stuff or whatever. But you know, they had the most fun when the DJ was basically just playing their favorite music or whatever, okay? So you can always get, for example, a DJ, a local talent, for example, that knows how to basically click play on a playlist. And you can get, for example, your own custom Spotify playlist. Remember, remove the ads, just pay the trial for that month or whatever, so this way you don't get like an ad midway through your dance, okay? So yeah, that's pretty good, but just get like a playlist, Spotify DJ. You don't actually need a live band. You can always get, for example, a special talent. You can use friends you actually know, people from your church, and this way you can actually save even more money. Utilize your friends, okay? Now, number 5 is makeup and hair. This is usually like for the girls out there. I don't I don't got no hair, I got no makeup to put on, right? So if you do have friends that know how to do makeup, you can always ask your friends to help you with it. And if you know how to do your own makeup, ladies, then you go ahead and do your own makeup, and that saves you even more money. And by the way, you could always just get your makeup done, but just don't say it's for a wedding, because then you're gonna have a big issue where they're gonna charge you a lot of extra money to get your hair and makeup basically done, okay? Because the minute you put wedding on it, they're gonna charge you extra money. Now, number 6 is going to be floral arrangements. I never thought about spending $3,600 or $3,900 on basically flowers. I feel like that's such a waste of money, because basically grabbing $4,000, putting it on the table, and seeing it disappear in 48 hours. Because obviously flowers don't last that long. But Tommy, it's so special. No, it is stupid. Now, by the way, you could always just rent, for example, some flowers, or better idea, you could always buy fake flowers and mix them 50% fake flowers, 50% real flowers, and the pictures will look just as good. People will not be able to tell. And in reality, you could just get some greenery instead of actually getting a bunch of flowers and so on, okay, for decoration. That is also, by the way, use Pinterest, use more YouTube videos, you do more Googling, okay? This will not be the last video you actually watch. Just do more research to find out better ways to budget and save a lot of money on this. But spending $3,900 on flowers is just ridiculous. It's basically 48 hours later, all that money is gone, okay? It's like gone. Flowers don't last anything. Now, number 7 is going to be on clothes. I mean, wedding dress, your tux, right, for your wedding. In reality, you could just dress your Sunday best and call it a day, right? So what is your Sunday best you go to church with? Just wear that. You'll be just fine. Doesn't matter. But if you want to, right, you could always just rent a wedding dress or rent a nice tux. I don't recommend you actually buy these things, especially for the ladies, because in reality, you're only going to wear that thing once. Like, when again are you going to wear it? Like, it makes no sense. And in reality, for the guys, you could buy a nice tux, but you could use it over and over again, so it's kind of like an investment, but you're better off just using your Sunday's best, or for example, just renting a good tux or H&M or whatever you actually have available, and that is basically it, okay? Remember, you could always go to the discontinued section at these wedding dress places, and this way you can save even more money, okay? I get the whole idea of this is a special moment. It is, but it doesn't have to be an irresponsible moment. There are ways to get what you want without spending a load of money on these things, okay? You don't have to own this dress. You can just rent it. Have your moment. Take your pictures. Give it back. Because for the next 30 years, it's just going to be in the closet and you're not going to use it again. Unless you plan on passing that down to your kid. But most of the time, kids don't want to use the old dress. That's the whole thing. But that could also be a very nice thing, okay? Now, number 8 is going to be digital invitations, okay? Sending people invitations, especially for weddings, are expensive. You're looking at $1,000, $800. But what you could do is just send people digital invitations, okay? Whether that's through WhatsApp, Messenger, or whatever it is. And by the way, if you want to have a fancy little template, you could always just go online and copy one into Canva, or you could just buy one on Etsy for like $5, $10, copy and paste something here and there, or use those for inspirations and basically make your own. That's also possible. You can just basically send it to people and have them RSVP by a certain point, but you don't have to spend a bunch of money on wedding invitations, okay? Because most of them, by the way, end up in the trash anyways. I don't even know. Well, I do know because my cousin sent it to me via like digital, and I was just as happy. I did not care. Now, number 9 is going to be food, okay? This is a special moment, but it doesn't have to mean, for example, people are going to be talking about your food for like next decade or whatever. No, people just want to have some food. And by the way, I've heard of Christians that basically get married and they serve people like just like some nuts and some fruits or whatever, and basically everyone's gone. That's fine too. Doesn't matter. You don't have to have some fancy dinner. You don't have to feed the people. You don't have to do any of that stuff, okay? But if you do want to do that, just make sure the venue that you actually go to allows you to actually cater in from external places. This way you can actually save a lot more money. And you can have, for example, a buffet service, and this way you save even more money. Or if you have some gifted people that are willing to actually cook and bring that food over, that is also an option. Explore everything, okay? I get it. It's a special moment, but you don't have to have filet mignon and you have to have like salmon and all this other stuff. I don't even remember what I ate at my cousin's wedding, okay? I'm just being honest. They probably put a lot of thought into it, but I could not remember. I remember I ate some cheese and I liked it a lot because I'm just like a cheese guy, but like it doesn't matter, okay? Just save your money. Now, number 10 here is going to be DIY Pinterest. That includes, for example, flower ideas, table setup, photography area, Etsy template, seating charts, and on top of that, veil. You can actually buy those veils for the ladies. You can buy them on Etsy for like $25, $50. My point is DIY, do it yourself the heck out of your wedding as a girl, as a guy, and basically just go out there and basically find everything you can. Do yourself. This way you can actually save even more money. By the way, when you do something yourself, it doesn't mean you're not doing it better or it's like less than what it could be, okay? No, you could do some things yourself and you don't have to pay other people to actually do it. Now, number 11 is going to be the venue. Make sure the venue you actually get includes, for example, rentals like on the chairs and the tables. This way you don't have to get all those things over, which is actually very good. And as far as like a venue, you could always just use your local church and usually just give the pastor something like as a pastor's gift or whatever, which is fine, but it's not really necessary. But there are a lot of things that you could do to save a lot of money. You can have a backyard wedding. These are all things you could do. Just find a venue you're happy with and that is within your budget. Number 12 now is going to be photography. You could hire a local talent or you could hire someone off season. Those are usually times when basically November and so on, when people or photographers don't really have that much work and they're willing to do things at a discount. Always ask for a discount. Always say who referred you. This way you can actually get even more validation and this way you can actually get treated better. That is the whole idea, okay? But by the way, do not, I would say this is what you actually keep in a wedding, like the pictures and all this stuff. But there's no need to spend $4,000 on a photographer. That's just like a little ridiculous for me when you're talking about, for example, like a 2-hour, 3-hour event. To me, that just sounds ridiculous, okay? So you can just find, for example, a local talent, but not your Uncle Bob with his iPhone because this is a little weird. Unless you can just afford that, okay? That's more than fine. But if you can have some money for photography, get a nice photographer, but don't just spend all your money on photography. Now, number 13 is going to be your honeymoon. This is actually massive and it's actually outside of the scope of the wedding now, right? But I'm trying to give you all the ways to save money I possibly can. One way is, I heard of couples that say, Tommy, we just got basically our apartment. We're going to spend our honeymoon at our new apartment and stay there. I mean, that's awesome. Or we're gonna get an Airbnb at a nice villa or a nice little house or whatever. That's awesome. Or you want to go to an all-inclusive hotel. That's awesome. Or you want to go internationally. That's awesome. But it all has to be within your budget. If your budget is just you can stay at a motel or a hotel or a resort or just at your new apartment where you're actually going to be living, that's more than fine, okay? And there's always I don't like the idea when people think that we just got married, we got to do everything right now before we have kids. That's like a very stupid idea way of thinking about it, like with all like I'm not really gonna apologize for that, but it's just very stupid in the sense that, for example, you have a whole life to live together, but you're trying to spend like just like 3 years, 5 years traveling, and you're assuming that the rest of your life is not going to include any of that stuff. Okay, if you're responsible along the whole journey, you could still have all those factors within your marriage life. Okay, now number 14, which is optional, you could get, for example, a wedding planner. But again, this could just be a friend that's actually helping you. But make sure whoever you get is someone who's in line with your values, not someone who's in line in making things the way they want to make it or making things the most expensive factor that they actually want to make it. Okay, again, have someone that is in line with your values, not someone that just says, hey, do it this way, it's nicer, but it's more expensive, not within your budget. And you don't want to have someone that's going to be motivating you to spend more money, especially when you're more viable to spend more money because you're excited, obviously. So be careful with that. Now, number 15 is you always have the option of not serving any alcohol. I don't drink any alcohol, honestly, so I don't care about alcohol at all. But some people do want alcohol at their wedding, but wine and beer is more than fine. If you want, for example, hard liquor, which I did have, for example, at my cousin's wedding, that's fine too. But that's all within your budget because all this stuff costs money. I think people a lot of times think about, what about our guests? Like, what are they going to think? Remember, this is why I said at the very beginning, it is about you two and glorifying God. It is not about your guests and having their every need satisfied. That is not what a wedding is about. And if people are coming into your wedding with that mindset, well, those people are wrong. It's not you who is wrong. Now, here's a bonus here that I do want to say is you want to set boundaries with your friends, set boundaries with your family members, just set boundaries overall. Remember, you two are the ones that need to be in agreement, okay? And you two are going to be the ones that are going to spend the rest of your life together. So make sure, overall things, that you start your marriage in agreement. Not that you start your marriage like everyone else is happy with the decisions you made. No, you start your marriage within your agreements, actually fulfilling everything you say you want to like fulfill. Okay, that's the whole idea, guys. I hope this video actually helped you. These are 15 ways to save a bunch of money, and there are a lot more ideas out there. You don't have to have a $30,000 wedding or 20 or even 10,000. You can have an $8,000, $7,000 wedding. People do it all the time. 5,000. You can even have, for example, $1,000 wedding. Okay, that's more than fine. And those people are still just as married. All right, so don't fall for the marketing. Don't fall for the scam. Figure out a way to do this thing that you actually enjoy and is actually within your actual means. All right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. If you're getting married, congratulations, very excited for you. If you got married and you watch this video looking back, very sorry for you. But it's awesome, man. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. Up here is another video. Over here is my face. Click subscribe. And as always, if you have other ideas, share them in the comments down below to help other people too. Okay, peace.